Hi guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Penny.
And we are the Oyster Boys, and today we are going to be reviewing a double dry hopped Cashmere pale, New England style pale ale made with Kveik, which I picked up from the Malt Miller.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously double hop, everything juicy about it, all your favourites, New England style. So I mean, go on.
Well, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, because obviously it's all cashmere,
yes,
isn't it? So it's all the flavours on that. So I mean, we did a little bit of research into it, didn't we? So I think it's a derivative from, I think it's the mother plant of the Cascade, and then the Northern Brewer male. But I think it's sort of like it's a breeding programmed hop.
Yeah.
So it's one of the new age, but I think it's a new kid on. Well, I say new kid on the block, nearly 10 years, but. It's definitely a favourite amongst the home brewing societies, isn't it? Sort of in the craft beer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So this beer, it is lager malt, mainly lager malt, with some flaked oats and some wheat or flaked wheat and oats. One of those two.
You made it.
Yeah, I did. Lager malt, oats, wheat, and like Penny said, for the hops, it's all cashmere. It's all added as a Whirlpool edition or one of the two dry hop editions. So there is absolutely zero bitterness in this beer. You're adding hops really early on, so you're getting that sort of like biotransformational hop addition. So
it's going to glow.
It's going to, it's not going to be clear at all.
Level 100.
And it's very low carbonation for the New England style, because we've had, I think, quite a few New England style beers, New England pales, that we've got in cans, and when you open it, the carbonation is so high that you get like a perceived bitterness from the CO2, like a real CO2 bite. It tastes really acidic, doesn't it? I think what's the one we did a clone kit of it? Major Vein.
Yes.
The carbonation was wild on the can of that. And a couple of the ones that we got from Chester Beer Wine have been the same as well.
Yeah.
So, this one, it's going to be low carbonation.
On purpose.
Super, like no bitterness at all. So I was going to say super low, but
wasn't anything after the Cornish IPA that put you off high carbonation.
It might look the same, mate, because neither
are
going to be clear. But yeah, shall I go outside, pour them and get them in the glass?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is glowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I think we need to get some little lights we can put underneath to make it look like it's glowing from the top.
I've had some bad times recently with making
Do you feel like you've redeemed yourself?
That were oxidised. I honestly...
And not just that, the lager as well.
I oxidised the shit out of the Siren Soundwave. Yeah. It looked like a pint of mud. The lager that first stellar clone that the guys...
Apple.
Yeah, so and the diacetyl taste as well. But I've bought some stuff which should help with that moving forward.
The base is buying everything to stop my brew errors. Your mistakes. Yeah. So you've got pressure fermentation.
Yeah,
you've got stuff to get rid of diacetyl.
But look, this one was done in a plastic bucket. Kveik yeast, so I didn't have to do it in the fridge. I just whacked it in my utility room with a heat belt on and a temp controller. So it must have been start to finish 4 days.
So how old's this beer?
A couple of weeks.
Okay, it's still pretty good.
Still pretty fresh, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually if I standard an ale from start to finish would be 6 to 7 weeks. I would be drinking
I was drinking this within 10 days of making it.
You do tend to find a lot of New England style IPAs come with Kveik yeast because the speed of that they do it. So obviously you're drinking the fresh beer as fresh as possibly can be, but also it has got high attenuation. But with the New England IPA, because you've got the likes of oats and you've got the wheat in there and stuff like that, you get the mouthfeel from that.
Yeah.
So
well, we'll see about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I've been drinking a lot of it already. It's taken us a while to get this review in the diary, hasn't it? I've been having to sort of pinch myself and say, "Don't have another pint tonight."
Really?
Yeah, because it's on draft. I've got the outdoor bar, which the nights are starting to draw in now. It's getting a bit dark, isn't it, to be filming outside in the evening?
So you'll move it to the inside bar.
So I will have to move it to the utility room bar instead. So
it's the east wing.
It's tough, mate. It's tough life. I always had to break into the spare million, so wicked. But yeah, what do you think? How do you think that looks?
It looks mega, mate.
Does look good, doesn't it?
Does look mega. I've had cans of New England style IPAs. I mean, especially when you hold it up to light. I mean, it's not murky at all, is it? It's
nice temperature off that chiller outside as well, isn't it? I've just got to say.
So
considering that the keg must be 24 degrees. before it goes into the chiller.
Yeah. And it's a really hard style to make and get it like that. 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 as well. You know,
I can't take any credit. Only because I know how much difficulty it is for getting it like that. So
yeah, moving forward, like Penny mentioned it then, I didn't go out and buy a full pressure kit. I basically bought a spun-in valve for a corny keg, fitted a floating dip tube in there. So I've got a beer on in that at the minute. And then once that's done, I've got a jumper kit so I can do keg to keg transfer to a serving keg. So hopefully the next beer that I do should have no chance of oxidation at all.
I'm just trying to work out the process. It's like...
Be easy, mate. It's piss, honestly. There's enough videos on YouTube that I don't have to do one, but trust me, I will. So, do you want to smell it?
Yes.
Okay. Whew. That's some fruit, isn't it?
It smells like, you know, the sort of the lolly ices that are a tube, and they've got like the purple on the top, then they've got the green, then they've got
the fruit pastels ones or the fab ones. No, it's not a fab, is it? It's the rocket lolly.
No, it's the fruit pastel one. Yeah. It's the 5 different colours, and you get it, and you just get the mix of all the flavours.
I mean, I think you get some standout ones like peach and I think pineapple as
well.
well.
Peach, pineapple. Maybe a slight hint of tangerine.
Yeah, and I mean, there is kind of almost like a lager. Can you smell the lager malt a little bit?
Yeah, I think we got the wrong choice of glasses here. I think we should have gone maybe with tulip, that we could have smelt it a bit more, but they're at my house.
You're always after tulips, mate. Yeah, love it.
Really good. Maybe like a tiny hint of sort of grassiness, but not much. No. It's all fruity.
Yeah. I mean, it's not on the hops for a long time. Because you're using that Kveik at the really high temperature, it's not on the hops for a long time because you whirlpool with it.
Yeah.
Put it in the bucket or keg, whatever you're fermenting in. After, say, 24 hours, you're pretty much at high Krausen there because you're using Kveik, it's 35 degrees, so it's going wild. So you
didn't temperature control, you just put heat bet on and
let it run. So I had it plugged into an Inkbird, so it wouldn't take it higher than 35.
Okay.
But it would always take it up to 35. So there's nothing. It didn't need anything.
But it was in a temperature control. It was in a fridge.
No, just in a bucket on the side. When you're doing it that high, because it's not 35 degrees in the room.
Yeah.
It's going to bring it down itself.
Yeah.
So you just set it to 35, and it'll kind of keep it there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had it in there doing that. 24 hours in, did the first dry hop edition, and then I think it was 2 more days. I did the second dry hop edition. I blew CO2. I blew CO2 through the beer. Is this
the innuendo video?
Oh yeah, all day long. Blew CO2 through the beer, through the tap at the bottom, thanks to the guys from the Mottler for that tip.
Yeah.
While I was adding the hops so that I didn't get any oxygen pickup doing that. And then once I'd finished fermenting it, I put it straight into a keg that had been purged with CO2.
I think we need to film this next time you do it.
Yeah, and I was blowing CO2 into the top of the bucket, so none went in there while I did it. So I did everything I can, basically, to not fuck it. Should we try it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, we haven't
scored it. Yeah.
8-9.
Yeah, I was going to give it an 8-8. And that's because it doesn't smell nice. It smells amazing. It's not...
Really, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can open a can and you get it straight away, whereas you really have to smell it. But what you do smell is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I hope it tastes as good as it smells.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Okay. All right. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Oh, there really is no bitterness at all, is there?
Absolutely zero.
Nothing.
It's slightly carbonated.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think I'd need it any more than that. No.
And I think the mouthfeel's quite good as well. It's not like thin. I think we've done I can't remember what beer we did with Kveik. It might be when we tried to do a wheat beer with it the first time we used Kveik, and it was like it stripped everything out and it left a really thin beer. We haven't got that here because the amount of oats and the amount of wheat that's gone into it, you've still got that really nice, really good mouthfeel. There are oat husks in the kit as well, so that you're not going to get a horrible stuck sparge from the oats and the wheat that are in there, which is always handy. Love that little touch there.
Little burp
line there,
Just don't forget about me.
Yeah, but like you say, mate, no bitterness, but I think that hop flavour, it's just really nice and juicy, and
it's really nice and juicy, but it's not 11, is it?
No, it's not overpowering.
It's not in your face.
It's more than subtle, but it's less than in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I've certainly had like higher, how do you describe it? Sort of more
More
fruity
hop
punch.
flavour,
But
yeah.
this, I'd say, I almost can taste a bit of the maltiness as well.
It's an easy drinker, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was hoping a bit more fruitiness from the flavour.
Okay.
I will. And that's not
Maybe you need to do a triple dry hop.
I don't know. Maybe.
Or do you think maybe more at the Whirlpool or a Zero Mint edition? Because when Whirlpool it dropped it down to 80, added the hops. Do you think it needs more?
What before?
Well, I suppose you don't want any bitterness though. Really, do
No.
that's the thing.
No. Maybe he just needs a different hop variety in there instead of just a
Just
single
to
hop.
complement it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe bit of Idaho 7 in there.
You said it.
I love that hop.
You said it. It's almost like having it could be like, having the salt without your vinegar on your chips sort of thing. They both complement, both is nice together, but complements it.
That's true.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from it. It's a really, really good beer.
I'm so glad I didn't fuck it. What do you reckon?
I think I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah. I think maybe an 8 too. A little bit. I'm fond of it because I'm familiar with it because I've been having it every night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think to get higher than that with this, it would need to have that real punchy hop flavour in there.
I think just different elements. Like I know, obviously, when you read the list of Cashmere, all the different flavours you're getting from it and stuff like that. But sometimes you just
they're all kind of like I'm tasting the flavours, but they're just
mellow.
Yeah.
But that's nice though, isn't it? It's almost like the Strata Delight that we had, which was really heavy on the passion fruit.
Yeah.
It was just sort of mellow in the background because you don't want to be drinking because when you drink like the Club Tropical from
Club Tropicana,
the Welsh one, Tiny Rebel, because they obviously put fruit juice in and stuff like that, and that's real punchy, but that's like really, really sweet and heavy. This is not. It's just like a sort of like a mellow.
I think this is going to do really well because what we're obviously looking for is the best all-round beer. So I think this is going to do really well because even though, it's not the highest flavour score we've ever done, there's other things where it's still going to come off well. I mean, before we get to the sessionability, which I think it's good on as well, we go for price. So this was 23 litres, so like 40 pints, basically. It was £33, which works out at 77.5p. So we'll round up.
Yeah, expensive yeast. Kveik yeast sword.
Well, no, it was a dry one. So So it was a dry one. It was a
Vos Kveik, wasn't it?
Lalamand Vos Kveik.
Okay.
In a dry pack, which you always know it's kind of going to be good if it's a dry one. You're not going to worry about it being slightly out of date or what's it been like in transit. So it's a safe, easy bet.
Do you think if they'd used an ale yeast? I know obviously it's the other one is ale, but if they used like an English ale with more like fruity esters, it would have maybe brought out more fruity flavours more flavours than aroma.
What I tell you what might have been interesting using that hophead, the Mangrove Jack's hophead yeast could have been interesting to try that.
I just think instead of less aroma, more, if that makes sense, flavour coming through, fruity flavour. Then
I think Kveik was great because I was literally drinking it 9 or 10 days after I made it, so it was like make it, ferment it, keg it, and after it's been in the keg 5 days on gas, I was drinking it.
I can't believe how much no bitterness is in it. It's like,
there's no hops at all at the start.
I know, but we've had New England IPAs where we've had it and gone, that's
too much gas, mate. Too much gas is what does it. But yeah, this is a king move. But I think
78p, 200 grams of hops. Obviously a new hop as well. It's a fashionable hop.
Yeah.
You've got multiple different what's called grains. Obviously, you've got wheat in there as well, which is getting super expensive.
And what you do need to get on top of all of that stuff that doesn't come with it is you need yeast nutrient, and you need basically double whatever the yeast nutrient says, because Kveik is super hungry, and it needs that yeast nutrient to really get it going. So I bought like a deluxe premier, well, we bought a fancy pants yeast nutrient from the malt miller.
It's only like a tiny put.
It's like point something of a gram does one lot, and you're buying it like 15 grams bag. So it's used so little, but it's got everything in there, and it really gets it going.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was what, 78p for that, and then maybe a couple of pence extra if you take the yeast nutrient into account. So let's say 80 something p a pint.
For New England IPA, that's mega.
That tastes this good and smells this good and looks this good. I think it's fantastic price. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a 8.5 on the
I was going to say 8.3. So I think we're pretty much on the nose, which is really good. I mean, look at that. It's just like really yellow and just...
But I mean, what I was getting at before is there's some New England beers and some very hop heavy and hop forward beers where you'd have it. I had one last week. My local pub had a Ddh tap takeover. And
oh, did they?
Yeah.
Let me know that.
Oh, I think you were probably busy, mate. To be
Okay.
fair. Yeah. And some of the beers were absolutely fantastic, and they've got some very good, very hop forward beers. But you couldn't really have more than one or two of them because they were just so in your face. After a while, you'd be like, you know, I'm going to move on to like a wheaty, cheeky wheaty or something like that. Pull a wheaty and move on to the different. But this, I could happily. Well, I mean, I know I could have at least 6. It's 5.3%.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So
nice
sessionable.
Some of them are usually about the sort of 6.3% or something like that.
But for New England styles, they can get right up there. But yeah, I could have it. I've had 6 while I've been here.
Could you have had more?
I could have had more. I could have had at least 7.5.
Wow. So for me, I was going to say 6 because you've got the low carbonation, which is nice, and it works as well. Obviously, we're not just turning it down just for the sake of sessionability. It's definitely. I'm not getting like a you know, like you get sometimes on the back of your tongue, sort of like a bitterness that sort of lasts around where eventually you can't have more. Don't get any of that. So I think 6 easy.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah.
I love it. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Well, there's one more thing, mate. If I just reach down here, there's the oyster score for this beer.
It was a bit easy.
That was it was very easy. Less editing these days.
Yeah.
But what I would say is smash like, hit subscribe.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming out now. Now I've got an extra fermenter.
You got an extra fridge.
I've got an extra fridge. Yeah, it's like, honestly, it's stacking up that we're having to meet midweek just to get the reviews out there. So
what a shame. What a shame. So I mean, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got another beer that I fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got to release that video one day.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you got?
A Wine Stefan clone.
Yeah, we've got
All Gash Belgian wit beer.
Thriller with vanilla, or was that a no-go?
I don't think we're going to do that.
Oh.
So.
Penny's fucked up as well.
It just wasn't as
loads.
good.
We've got loads and loads of stuff coming up. So, yeah, hit subscribe.
Yeah.
Come back and watch them. But also, yeah, the link is in the description below to buy this kit. Also to buy the yeast nutrient that we used. So, well done if you've made it this far through the video. Thanks very much for watching. And I suppose we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
Oysters out. Beauty.